Everybody, this is the April 14th meeting of the Finance Committee, and with us today are Councilor Sullivan, myself, Councilor Devine, Councilor Givner, and Councilor Ocasio. We do expect Councilor Jordan momentarily, but I will take up a motion to take
Motion to take up item 1 and approve the minutes from the April 10th meeting.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, I make a motion to take up item number 2.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and Yanni is here, so if we have any questions. Ordered that in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provision of EOEEA Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness 2.0 Planning Grant, $102,420, no match grant, and authorizes the establishment of a fund and other appropriate for the accounting of the receipts and expenditures. So, Yanni, if you would like to talk about this, and then if people have questions.
Yeah, of course. So this is a planning grant from the EEA for the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant Program. We've gotten a lot of competitive grants through this program over the years for green infrastructure, climate resiliency projects. We just submitted one with DPW for improvements to the wastewater treatment facility. And when we entered the program, when it was first created in 2018, every community had to go through a planning process to identify the main climate vulnerabilities that we wanted to address. So now all of those early adopters, including Holyoke, are being required to do this 2.0 planning grant process to not create a new plan, but update those priorities. So the first half of the grant will be a planning process where we're gonna revisit and assess climate resilience priorities. It'll be city staff, other community stakeholders, and a contracted partner. And then there'll be a second phase. There's $50,000 for a seed project to implement something from those findings and accelerate climate resiliency project. So total award is $102,420, no match requirement, and should be a good, useful, exciting process.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody on the committee have questions? Councilor Sullivan.
Yep. Thank you, Yoni. You tell me on the first round when we made the plan, was there also a seed project that went with that one?
I don't think so. I think that just made us eligible for the action grants. So I think this is a new thing they're rolling out for the 2.0 process.
All right. Could you give some examples of what possible seed projects might look like?
Yeah, I've asked them about that, and I haven't really gotten any guidance. I think it could be almost anything as long as it's grounded in the findings from the planning process. So if there's an infrastructure project that was listed as a priority, like we really want to finish off the CSO separation, maybe 50,000 wouldn't go very far, but if it could be, if it could fund part of that effort, I could see that being eligible. Yeah, I'm not really sure other than that.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to accept the grant?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Yoni, and good luck.
Thank you.
Motion to take up item 3.
Item 3. Okay, item 3, oops. We have 2. What is it? Where's,
It's on the first page.
I know, but I have, that's 2, and it goes to 4. Thank you. Okay. Item 3, ordered that there be and hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2025, $38,600 as followed, from school capital outlay 38.6 to Council on Aging R&M building. Make a motion, we take this off the table for discussion. Matt, if you want to come in or go to the mic, whatever's easier for you. Okay, as long as the mic's working. Nope.
Turn it on. Well, you just have to turn it on. You have to turn it on.
The- Down at the,
Kevin's online.
Patty?
one second. Counselor Jordan,
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know I'm here.
you mean you're online?
Yes,
You're not physically here.
correct, yeah. I'm online.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, Matt is going to talk about item number 3.
So essentially, the request is for funds to do an exterior painting of the senior center.
Okay. Any questions?
You said it's to do what?
Paint the exterior of the building.
Okay. So is this something that really needs to get done in the next couple of months, or could it wait till the next fiscal year?
For the maintenance of the building, it could certainly wait. I don't think there's a weathering problem. It is,
I gotta read that.
it's ugly and splotchy.
Yeah. So my main concern with this is we're seeing all kinds of cuts in school budgets going on, across the whole state and other communities. And here we have a $150,000 surplus in the school budget that we may want to hold off and see what's going on with the school department before we undertake, some cosmetic problem. It's not a roof caving in or a roof leaking or mold problems like some of the other things we've had. That's
No, there's no, this project doesn't cover any kind of roof leaks. Painting is an important part of maintenance, but I don't think this painting is critical to be done immediately for maintenance of the building materials. It will need to be done in the
Yeah.
not too distant future for that purpose.
Yeah, and my thoughts is it could be something, planned for in the next round, next budget round, right? For the Council on Aging, right, in their own budget. I'm just looking at preserving as much in the school budget where there are surpluses.
Certainly.
So-
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the finances enough to know whether or not it could be figured out into the Council on Aging's budget or not.
Okay.
Matt, I have to assume that you've looked at the building
Yes.
and know that it needs to be painted.
Yes, it does need a painting, in large part because there's this splotchy, uneven weathering where touch-ups were done with a paint that is fading very differently from the original paint of the siding, the hardy board siding. So it looks very, very uneven. There's the light brown color of the original, and what got used for the touch-ups is fading to kind of a pumpkin-y color. So it looks almost like a little camouflage pattern.
Yeah.
Okay. Counselor Givner?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have to agree with Councilor Sullivan here. There's a lot of things in the city that need desperate attention, including like the wall at Wisteria Hearst Museum. And with all the budget cuts, I'd have to agree that we should be doing as much as possible with as little as possible. And if this isn't absolutely necessary, if it's cosmetic, I would probably not support this at this time.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit more than just cosmetic, but it is not an emergency that it absolutely needs to be painted right now before the wooden substrate starts decaying.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, I don't think we should wait that long either.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
want to wait till there's an absolute emergency, but if we could wait a season, and put it in the next budget, I think that would make a lot of sense. Thank you.
Well, I just would say that we don't know what's going to be in the next budget. Where this, because I read something the other day about the school budget increasing. So I don't know if they're going to give you this in a couple months or whatever. My feeling is you don't want to paint when it's 90 degrees out, if that's the summer.
I guess that would, the painter would have some say on that. I'm sure painting could be done during the hottest of the summer. I think it could be done early in the day and then later in the day. I know roofers definitely, during the hottest of the summer, they're not up there in the blazing midday sun. They come in real early and they work for a few hours, then they go home, take a nap, come back when the sun's going down and work for a few hours.
Okay.
So I imagine if they're going to paint in the middle of the summer, it would be something like that.
Okay.
So I don't think it's impossible, but your point is not incorrect.
Counselor Jordan, do you have a question or a comment?
Kind of a question and a comment. I wanted to ask, one of the things that I think looks unappealing is the fact that the building's been subject to graffiti. And the patching that they went over was to take out the graffiti. Of course, there's nothing that's going to prevent that from happening again. That's largely the problem. And I was wondering, instead of just rolling over smaller areas, if they could do just sections where there was graffiti to make it blend in and look nicer. And I don't think that would cost $150,000. So I was just wondering if they could do some sort of interim thing to make it look nicer.
Kevin, it's 38.6 is the transfer.
Oh, 38,600?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it could be done for less than $38,600. I mean, there's just certain sections that I was kind of hoping that those, instead of doing just like rolling over the spot where some graffiti artist did the spot, maybe they did a panel where it's 8 feet by 8 feet, so it blended in nicer. I don't know. I don't think that should cost $38,000 to make that look nicer.
Is this for the whole building?
That's for the
Whole
whole
building.
exterior, yes.
Well, yeah, but my point is, at this point, I'm not sure the whole building needs aesthetically to be repainted. I hear you. I agree. Maybe some point you're right, but I'm saying on the interim, maybe we could fix what's unappealing, especially facing Sargent Street, which is the main issue that people see when they're driving by. I don't know if we could clean that up for, $4,000 or $5,000, and then once we figure out where we're at financially down the road, we could do the rest.
My personal feeling is that we should pass it, but I'll leave that up to the Finance Committee, because Matt certainly knows the building and knows what it needs. So it's really up to the Finance Committee. Kevin, is your hand still up, just so you'll know? Okay.
Well, I would like to make a motion to deny the transfer, and
I'll second that.
Okay, I'll have a roll call. Counselor Ocasio?
To pass it or not to pass it?
to deny
The
it.
motion is to deny it.
I'm going to deny it. No.
Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Devine, no. So,
I'm waiting for you to call my name. Yes.
okay. And Counselor Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Matt. So it's 4-1, and I don't know what to tell you. I appreciate you coming in. And hopefully they'll do it at some point. Okay, thank you.
Motion to take up item 4?
Okay, item 4, and the chief is here. This is hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year $12,000 as follows. $12,000 from firefighters to hazmat overtime $7,000, hazmat team $5,000. I'll take it off the table for discussion.
Good evening. What this is for is we had 2 new members added to hazmat. So the 5,000 is the stipend the state pays them. Everything with the hazmat money, whatever we expend, the state reimburses us. So basically, we front load the state, we pay for it, then the state reimburses us when we submit for the reimbursement. So these funds actually come right back into the general fund.
Okay. Questions, anybody?
Motion to approve the transfer?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I have to do the roll?
Yes.
Okay. Counselor Ocasio?
Yes.
Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Sullivan?
Yes.
Counselor Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, so that takes care of that.
Motion to take up item number 5?
Item number 5 is ordered that there be and hereby appropriated by transferred in the fiscal year 2025, $78,050 as follows: from school capital outlay, $78,050, to fire capital outlay equipment, $78,050. Chief?
So at this for, it's at the point where we're looking to replace our portable radios. Our portable radios are no longer supported, so they don't make them anymore, so they're not supporting the repairs for them. It's getting very difficult and expensive to repair them as they break. The other issue is these radios are on a net that's called, it's called DMR, which is digital mobile radios. That's actually not even really, it's not recommended for public safety. We should have been on what's called P25. The police are already on P25. I'm not sure when we did these radios back, why we didn't go with P25. But it's recommended from the state for interoperability. We can't talk to other fire departments when we go to their cities because we're not on that band. And it basically, within the state, we can't even get communications grants because we don't meet that standard. The state needs you to be on that standard in order for us to even qualify for communications grants.
Okay, questions, anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Chief?
Counselor Sullivan has a question.
Yeah, I think you just saw the questions we said regarding, was there any other place to pull this money from besides the school department?
I didn't have any place within my budget, Counselor. We're really tight. We have less than 100,000 in firefighter left where we can move it. We're in the middle of trying to onboard 7 firefighters also. So, I mean, right now I don't, but the issue is if we have a surplus, it's going to go back to the city. I'm trying to maintain a surplus. I'm not sure if we're going to have it at the end within firefighter. It's been a very difficult fiscal year. But we'll try our best to get money back, obviously. But right now, I don't see a spot where I have money to move to do this.
And you did say that the state will reimburse you. Was that this one?
No, that was the
That was
other.
the one before.
That's hazmat. Yeah, everything hazmat through the state hazmat team. That was the one before us. The state
Right.
reimburses.
Okay. Questions, anybody? Counselor Givner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, when you say it's getting expensive to fix the units, how many units are there and what does that mean?
It's to the point where it's it's about $750 average to fix these as they go.
And how much do the individual units cost for replacement?
I'd have to get into my quote. I think they're over 3,000. They're about 3,000, 3,200, but that's with the licensure. So you have to buy a licensure to be able to actually transmit, and that's with that licensure also.
And they likely come with a warranty so that if anything goes wrong
Yes.
with them, yeah.
Yes, Counselor.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks
Counselor.
looks like about $1,200 a unit, plus a battery, plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Do I hear a motion?
This one I'd have to agree with. It's in the interest of public safety. It's not cosmetic,
Right.
for sure.
Right, that's for sure. Any other questions or?
Nope.
So do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the transfer?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to have to call a roll. Ocasio?
Yes.
Givner?
Yes.
Devine, yes. Sullivan?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Okay. And I didn't say this in the beginning because I didn't know that Counselor Jordan was going to be online rather than in person. So I just want to read this for the record. Motion to take a roll call vote that for the purposes of this meeting would be applicable to all motions to remove an item from the table, place items on the table, package items, or suspend the rules unless there is an objection.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I think we have one more, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Motion to
this,
take up item 6?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion to keep item 6 on the table?
thank you. And I see Attorney Ball is on the line as well. Ordered that there be and hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2025, $108,695.56 as follows. From the Cannabis Stabilization Fund, $108,695.56 to solicitors' claims and damages, $108,695 and 56 cents. Counselor Ball, do you want to say anything about this? Or if, I just noticed that Counselor Ball is here, so if anybody has questions of her, or if you want to make a statement first about this, you're welcome to do that.
Thank you, Councilor Devine. Yes, I wanted to just say this has been in City Council and in committee at least since June. We've been appearing, I've appeared at least 4 times in executive sessions to discuss this matter. I think we've explained it and answered a lot of questions and explained, why we think this is in the best interest of the city. I'm not sure what else I can really offer. I know other councilors were offered the opportunity to speak with our outside counsel. So I hope at this point questions have been answered and that we could move this along to City Council. We do have a separate matter that's on for executive session tomorrow. So I'm looking really to see, if there's any reason to not send it to City Council at this point. I think it's ready to have the council make a decision about it.
Okay. Questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes, I see your hand now. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you. Yes, we were actually, we tabled it, and the last we discussed it, we were looking for an update with some of the guidance that we had given at the prior finance meeting on this topic, both in executive session. So we haven't received any report back on how that guidance is going. Looking forward to discussing this more broadly next, I believe tomorrow, there's going to be a discussion of this topic more broadly. So no, we're looking for follow-up relative to the points that were made at the last meeting, the last executive session on this. So I'm going to make a motion to table this.
If I might, I'm not sure what more you're looking for in terms of guidance. I don't really know what you're referring to.
I would refer you back perhaps to the minutes of that meeting. I don't want to get into executive session discussions in the open, but I'm happy to go over some of those points tomorrow when we have an executive session. Or you can have another executive session of the finance meeting, whichever is easiest.
I don't think that would be necessary, but I would agree there is an executive session tomorrow. I would just ask that this matter be moved to City Council at this point.
That's what I was going to do, was amend Kevin's motion that we pass it to the City Council without a recommendation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Did you want to say something, Counselor Sullivan?
Well, we already have a motion on the floor, so,
And I amended his motion.
okay, so, my preference, I don't like the idea of sending it out of committee without a recommendation. If we hear enough to encourage us to go along with this tomorrow, right? We should be able to, if it's a strong enough case, we should be able to get the 9 votes to take it out of committee there. And I still feel something of this magnitude should be something that's agreed on by more than a simple one-person vote, by a simple majority. Something of this magnitude, I think we should have whatever you want to call it, a supermajority or the 9 votes, even though that's not the law. But this, to me, this is a great exception. If a good, enough information is delivered to sway the rest of the council to take it out of committee, that's going to be enough votes also to get it approved tomorrow night. So that's why I would not go along with that.
Anybody else?
On the motion,
Okay, the motion is that we send it to city council without a recommendation, and it was seconded. Counselor Ocasio?
That, I thought the motion was to table.
No,
she amended it, so.
I amended his
Okay,
motion.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Counselor Ocasio?
No.
Counselor Givner?
Yes.
Counselor Devine, yes. Counselor Sullivan?
No,
Do you say no?
Yep.
Okay, Counselor Jordan?
No.
Okay, so that's a 2 to
On the
3
motion.
vote.
Yep,
2 to 3
on the
vote.
motion to table.
second,
Okay, Counselor Ocasio?
To table? Yes.
Counselor Givner?
No.
Counselor Devine, no. Counselor Sullivan?
yes.
And Counselor Jordan?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a 2 to 3 vote to table. I don't know what to tell you, Lisa. I'm trying, Coco's trying. It's the way it is. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Good night.
See you tomorrow, Lisa.
Good night. Guess what I did, guys? I replaced my computer battery. And now I don't need a plug all the time. I'm very excited.
I went to the store to do that the other day,
Yeah.
and I got sent out that I had to make an appointment.